only evidence we have in this case is they don't like Ken Paxton. And there is no doubt there have been hundreds upon hundreds upon hundreds of articles about Ken Paxton and how bad Ken Paxton is. Everybody has heard it, and guess what? The voters heard it too.
We say we back the blue in this building, but Mr. Paxton tossed him out with the others like the garbage. If you don't hold Mr. Paxton accountable, that could happen to any of us.
You know, everything we've heard over the past 2 weeks has really led to this moment. So even if you haven't been keeping up with Ken Paxton's impeachment trial, we can bring you up to speed.
Yeah, closing arguments wrapped just before noon today, and senators have 2 hours left to deliberate for the day before adjourning. And for the first time since pleading not guilty on day one, Paxton was on the Senate floor for closing arguments this morning. He sat through arguments from both sides and did not leave until the Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick called for deliberations.
There's no hung jury here. The senators have to keep at it until they reach a decision. So we could possibly be in for a long weekend.
We've had teams in Austin throughout the 9-day trial. Jason Wheeler and Teresa Woodard have been covering Texas politics for decades. Teresa and Jason, we saw two very different tactics used from the prosecution and defense.
Oh, did we ever today? And those senator jurors sat there and listened to all of that, Teresa. And then they ended up going behind closed doors here at the Capitol, and they have had this case now for more than 6 hours. They've been deliberating. What they're deciding is 16 different articles of impeachment. The lieutenant governor, who's the judge in this case, said this is like deciding 16 different trials all at once.
So complicated.
It is complicated, and maybe that could take a while, we're told. As you said, Izzy, they will go until at least 8 o'clock tonight. Yes. I believe the lieutenant governor said that they can go longer than that if they choose. Then they'd come back at 9 a.m. tomorrow if they don't have a decision and go until 8. And then he said Sunday night, if they're still here, he's thinking about sequestering them under the Capitol dome. Basically, they'd sleep in their offices.
And he said they've done that before.
Yeah, and so then they would do that and then keep on meeting until they're able to come to a verdict. Now, for Ken Paxton, history, we've talked a lot about that, is not on his side. There have been 2 other impeachments in this state, one of a governor in 1917, one of a district court judge back in 1966. Both of those ended in convictions. That's not to say it'll happen this time, but that's what's happened in the past. As we said, though, both sides got up there and made their final cases in those final arguments that lasted about an hour each before senators got this.
And boy, could the styles have been any different. I don't think they could have been. The defense was loud, bold, almost angry at times. That is Tony Busby's style, though, and he certainly did not deviate from it at all. At times, he was almost yelling on the Senate floor. The prosecution, absolutely the polar opposite, methodical, almost surgical. They were going through the articles of impeachment one by one and reminding senators about the evidence they have presented throughout the course of the last week and a half. They also had strategy, though, on who delivered the message. They left the final word to State Representative Jeff Leach from Allen, a fellow Collin County Republican who considers Ken Paxton a dear friend, he said, and he had the final word. Take a listen.
There's no doubt that these folks did not prove a case. They didn't prove a preponderance. They didn't prove anything other than they don't like Ken Paxton.
Mr. Busby, you said in your closing that we're here because we hate Ken Paxton, and you could not be more wrong. I have loved Ken Paxton for a long time. I've done life with Ken Paxton. We've traveled together, attended church together, attended countless Cowboys and Baylor football games together. Heck, we're both former Baylor student body presidents.
You cannot remove the politics from this, and the prosecution certainly wanted Leach to be the final voice in people's heads. He even told them, look, I took this difficult vote on the House floor already when I voted to impeach him. It's now your turn. Yeah, and all they would have to do is convict him on any one of those 16 articles for him to be removed from office. Chris, Izzy, we are on Senator jury watch at this point. We will definitely let you know when we hear something. We're told we'll get a 30-minute warning when they have a decision.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that 8 o'clock hour as well. Thank you, Jason and Teresa. You know, if there's ever been a time to key in on what's taking place at the Capitol, it's right now. Tanya Iser and a team of legal experts are anchoring our digital coverage on WFAA Plus through Apple TV, Roku, and Fire TV. You can also see their analysis on WFAA.com and our YouTube channel, where we've already seen thousands of you tuning in.